Welcome back to the channel all, and welcome to my review for the next episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. This is for the episode Captive Pursuits. Yes, so let's talk about it. Okay, before I begin, a bit of bad news, obviously, and I'd like to just express my condolences that we lost the actress Louise Fletcher just, well, this morning I heard the news. Louise Fletcher was big in film and TV, probably most well known for her role as Nurse Ratched in the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I should say, and she did play Kai Wynn, or Vadek Wynn, as she later became known, in 14 episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, hence why I'm mentioning it here. So, a sad day, something that comes to us all eventually, yes. So, anyway, let's just get into this episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
90,000 light years.
A wanted predator from the other side threatens the space station.
Show me where the weapons are stored.
Is he a dangerous criminal or a pawn in a brutal game?
I live the greatest adventure one could ever desire.
Now the crew finds themselves battling the unknown.
He's running from something, that's for sure.
The hunt is on the next exciting episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Okay, so Captive Pursuits. So this episode here, it was first aired on the 1st of February 1993 in the United States, with a story by Jill Sherman Donner, from a teleplay by Jill Sherman Donner and Michael Piller. This episode is directed by Corey Allen. Now, this episode opens with a vessel coming through the wormhole, a vessel that isn't recognised by Starfleet's database, and it turns out to be the first visitor from the Gamma Quadrant. Yes, and it is this species of alien that looks very lizard-like, very untrustworthy. Only one person on board the ship, and the ship's having a bit of trouble, so they bring it onto the station or onto one of the docking pylons, and Chief Miles O'Brien goes and sees and introduces himself to the alien on board, go and see if he can help out with the ship, and he befriends this alien to a degree, and it turns out it's an alien who refers to himself as Tosk. Like I said, the alien's somewhat wary and untrustworthy, everyone, but then another vessel turns up at the station hunting for him, looking for him, and the crew of DS9, they wonder whether he's up to something, whether he's a criminal and all this sort of thing. But as it turns out, he's actually an alien species that's bred to be hunted and hunted down and killed. Yes, these three individuals come on board the space station in sort of military garb with masks, and they try to hunt him down and try to kill him. And that's pretty much the primary story for this episode. Now, I remember seeing this episode back in the day, and I was blown away by it. I thought this was a fabulous, well-paced episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. The actor who plays Tosk, I felt that he was very good in the role. Scott MacDonald, his name is. He played it very alien-y, very sort of... you know, you got the sense of the untrustworthiness, you got the sense of him being in an alien environment, an environment he didn't know or understand. It was very well played. Now, this is primarily a Chief O'Brien episode because it's about the relationship that he forms with Tosk and his thoughts on the whole Tosk being hunted down thing and how wrong it is. But it's another alien race's way. You know, these aliens are bred for it. The Tosk themselves, because we never find out if that's actually his name. Well, it ain't his name. It's sort of what they're referred to as. He hasn't even got a name. Tosk is who they are. They're sort of species, so to speak. They even, you know, they're open to it. They're they understand that that's their place because it's all they've ever known. It's all they've ever been bred for, and all this sort of a thing, which is fantastic storytelling. And at the end, Brian sort of goes against orders to change the game, so to speak, to give Tosk a chance of getting away, and thusly the chase continues. And there's a great scene at the end where O'Brien is reprimanded by Cisco, and Cisco, and this is what makes Cisco such an appealing captain to me. He chews Brian out for his actions, but then at the same time sort of gives a wry smile as O'Brien leaves the office. But so he has to do what he has to do as a captain, but at the same time you see this humility in him as a character and this sort of a thing, because he knows that what O'Brien's done is the best thing, but he can't say that because he's a Starfleet commander and he's got to take that side of it, and it's just fantastic for the characters. There's also wonderful stuff between O'Brien and Quark, where Quark sort of gives O'Brien a bit of advice, and O'Brien takes it and uses it, and this elevates Quark, for Quark then to sort of be going and approaching other patrons in his bar to give them advice, because the advice he's given him has worked. And it's a fabulous episode, but primarily it is an O'Brien episode, but very good nonetheless. I really enjoyed it. Again, not overly special effects heavy and outside of the station or anything like that. It's all self-contained on the station, but the alien makeup on the Tosk is really good. It looks really good. He looks lizard-like, and yeah, just fabulous. Now, the one thing that always disappointed me is that we never got to see this alien race again. I always thought that this story was worth a revisit. It would have been nice to have seen this character come back, this Tosk to come back into play. Maybe that he broke away and he is, he's developing a life and learnt a life away from being just solely hunted or something like that. That would have been some interesting storytelling. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be that way, so they never revisited it, which is a shame. It really is. But anyway, so that's it for this episode. A wonderful episode again. Join my revisits. Join me again probably tomorrow, actually, for another episode. Next episode is Q Who. Yes, return of John Delancey as Q and Vash on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We'll talk about that one next. Take care all, and let me know your thoughts. Goodbye.